episode of Attack on Titan, we finally learn the true identities of the Armored Titan and the Colossal Titan. And guess what? It's two characters who've been around since the beginning of the series. Spoiler warning if you have not watched this week's episode. The identity of the Armored Titan is Reiner Brown. The identity of the Colossal Titan is Berthold Hoover. These two have been working together and possibly with Annie to destroy all of humanity. And the build-up to their initial transformation in this episode is just plain epic. And I love how it plays out. At first, this episode seemed a little slow to me. It wasn't until about the midway point of the episode where Reiner and Berthold are just having this super casual conversation with Eren, where just out of the blue, he reveals that both of them are indeed the Armored and Colossal Titan. And at first, it's just completely insane. You're like, what is going on? Why is no one paying attention to this? And that's when we flash back and we start to learn some of the things that have actually been going on in the previous episodes. Like that one big moment where Reiner was seemingly about to be killed by the female Titan. That was like the first thing that popped in my head. If he's working with Annie, why did that Titan try to kill him? Actually, they might have been communicating with each other because Reiner desperately wanted to know where Eren was, and he was constantly poking and prodding Armin for that information. When he figured out where he was able to get close enough to Annie and tell her. Maybe not with his actual voice. It's implied by Armin that Reiner actually carved a message into Annie's palm, and that makes sense that she does focus on it for a couple of seconds before immediately turning into a separate direction, allowing Reiner and Armin to run away. So, it's pretty obvious at this point that these two have been planning something, and what a freaking shock it is, especially everything that happened over the course of the last couple episodes, with Reiner almost being killed by other Titans, and then we get the transformation sequence. The transformation sequence is so well done, and so just send a shiver down your spine, inducingly badass that I just cannot describe it. And the music, of course, of the series is definitely one of the most amazing things about these sequences. It's just so thunderous and epic. And it's made even better when Mikasa overhears all of this and decides to attack both of them, actually cutting right through Berthold's freaking throat and cutting off the hand of Reiner. But then suddenly lightning starts to crackle, they start to transform. I love the look of the sketchy drawing of the Titans' faces that suddenly appear in a flash of lightning over them right before they go through the big transformation. And to see the Armored Titan again is honestly refreshing. It only really made one appearance in the series, and despite the fact that it's not as large and crazy as, say, the Colossal or the Beast Titan, it just looks so freaking awesome. And they immediately start going for the Titan shifters, with the Armored Titan grabbing onto Eren and jumping off of the wall, and the Colossal Titan just completely dwarfing everything and grabbing Ymir. But of course, Eren is not going to go down fighting, and I really wish they hadn't have shown this scene in the trailers for this season, but it's still really epic when you see it here, where while the Armored Titan is still holding on to Eren, he actually starts to transform. You get to see the entire Titan body forming around him, the musculature, the skin. He comes in, getting ready to deliver an epic punch, ending this week's episode. What is the rundown on this week's episode of Attack on Titan? It was great. It's finally good to learn a little bit more about who the identities are of arguably the most iconic freaking Titans of the entire series. The Armored Titan and the Colossal Titan are responsible for all of that destruction years ago, and that completely blows my mind, making it so that now when I rewatch those episodes, I'm gonna think something completely different. And that's what I love, is how they're constantly sort of like changing the foundations of the series. That, and they continue to do it with a lot of gusto. Like I said, the first half of this episode was real slow, but the minute that like Reiner and Berthold started talking about the fact that they were Titans, like that was the moment you're just like, wait, what is this? This is really happening right now. We're actually learning about this shit. It's a really big deal. And the fact that Reiner is the one who sort of like lost all of his composure, he's sick of hanging around all of these annoying humans and putting on this facade, and they just want to go back to their homeland. Now, this brings up so many more questions. Like, are there different factions of Titans? Like, are there those who are from, like, different lands or different parts of the world? Are they going to ally themselves with the Beast Titan? Do they have an alliance with him? it's really confusing. Where the hell did the Beast Titan even freaking go? Like, that guy just manages to appear and disappear without a moment's notice, and that's kind of ridiculous considering that, of course, he is a giant freaking ape monster, but like many of the other characters in the series, he probably has the ability to transform into a human form as well, which brings up more mystery for him. But Hoover, Bertholdt, he's the guy who's like, no, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be talking about this right now, Reiner is out of his fucking mind, don't listen to anything that he is saying. And when it finally gets to that moment and they're actually forced to actually transform, it's gotta be one of the greatest moments from the entire series. Especially Mikasa actually attacking them, she's so freaking deadly and badass, and that whole scene was animated perfectly. The actual transformation sequence and the music that they chose too just really sent a shock down my spine. Like, the whole time I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing! I kind of wish that I had done a reaction to this actual episode, because usually when I watch an anime and I do a review of it, I kind of like to take my time before I do my review and think about it a little bit. But as soon as that episode finished, I just ran in here. I'm like, okay, I've got to catch this freshness as much as I can. And man, it just blew away my expectations. And like I said, it sort of changes everything for the series. And that's what I love about shows like this. I can go back, watch it, knowing new information and seeing it in a completely different light, and maybe even trying to look for some other clues to show that Reiner and Bertholdt were the traitors, as Aaron put it. And of course, that scene at the end is just ingenious, him transforming in his hand. I can't wait to see the next episode. The trailer gave away that they are indeed going to have a fight, and you also get to see some teases of that in the actual intro of the show. I just never expected that it would be Aaron versus Reiner. Great episode right here. And aside from all that other stuff, there's still some great things in the beginning of the episode, like a tender moment between Hanji, Zoe, and Krista, where she reveals her true name as Historia Rice to her, and they actually sort of meet each other for the very first time. It's good to know that Hanji is actually willing to trust her, as well as try and look out for Ymir, who seems like she's going to be okay, just like the other Titan characters. If she loses a limb, she'll be able to grow it back. They already say that she has steam coming from her body. And then, of course, I think again of the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan wanting to get revenge against Ymir because one of their friends was killed by her personally. I have a feeling that they're probably just going to want to crush her right there. Will she manage to snap out of her funk and transform, and we end up just getting this like massive Titan battle? We just gotta wait and see. This one right here, guys, the hype was so damn real. It captured the pure epicness of Attack on Titan, and that's what I really loved about this one. And of course, one hell of a cliffhanger, which is just going to pop off into something pretty amazing next week. So let's get excited for that. Overall, though, that's my thoughts on the episode. 5 out of 5. I loved it. But I want to hear from you guys. Did you watch this week's episode of Attack on Titan? Make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Were you shocked to learn the identities of the Armored and Colossal Titans? What do you hope to see in this big epic battle where Eren is going to throw down with the Armored Titan? And what do you want to see from the rest of the second season overall? Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all things Attack on Titan anime related. Make sure to leave me a comment telling me what you thought about the episode. And of course, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Or if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay dandy, baby.